Okay, right. Today's show is going to be another huge one, right? A whole bunch of information is going to be described to you there about certain information of where Bitcoin is, where certain costs are, where certain aspects are going on, a lot of things. Well, Liberty Finance is going to be talked about today. And at the end of this show, I'm going to give you where I think this will bottom, right? And where this will bottom may make some people very happy and might make other people very, very sad, right? But I'm going to go through a full lot of information. There's some really interesting things that have come out. And it's always the case when the markets are pulling back and things are a bit, quiet. That quiet always somewhat gets into a point where some of the shady things that happen in this market come to the forefront because people are taking more attention on what is going on because they can see it, right? So what is going on, right? What is the situation? What is the lowdown? What are we talking about? Because today's show is going to be an interesting one. There's some interesting things going on out there at this present moment. I don't know if you've been following it, but the finance might be doing some, I don't know. We'll get into it. I'm gonna ask you guys genuinely gonna ask you guys what you think. I've been a bit of away from the Alpha Hunters group today, unfortunately, because I've just had some work to do. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing something very, very similar as well. But KB has been doing some live trading, some amazing stuff. I'm working on that side. Right. Now, Bitcoin is having a bit of a bounce, right? And it's having a bit of a bounce from a very obvious key area in this market. Super key. In fact, forget Bitcoin. Let's look at total, right? It's having a super duper obvious bounce from a key area of support, which is the bottom of this candle wick here, and moving up here. Now, whether we are going to see anything more, whether we're going to go any higher is a question mark here, right? And the reason why I say it's a question mark is because we need to regain some, you watching Sundown, the Union, no, I'm going to go through, there's a lot more information. That's going to be a whole lot of boring stuff at the moment. He's going to be talking about how amazing America is, right? Now, I will get back to this, exactly where things are going to be going. I'm going to give you an understanding of where I think you need to look at, what aspects do you need to look at, what areas of support and resistance are going to be very important to see where you see reactions. But this is looking pretty good. I mean, we could potentially see a continuation up to a certain area, but there are three key areas where this thing could really, really, really nuke from here. So we have to be careful, and we need to be understanding that there's a lot of things that we need to play around with first, right? Now, let's get in to the where to start. Right. Should we start with the good, the bad, or the controversial? What are we thinking? Good, bad, or controversial? What are we looking at, and what do we think is the best way to start from this? Actually, before that, let me get some people in here because people are slacking. They're slacking. You know what I mean? Then put it into the group. 1 second. Here we go. Put it in here. All right. Put that there, and then I'll get into the really interesting. Hey, damn. All right. Okay. Cool. Now the bad. Let's get one with the bad, and we can go on from there, and we can add on some certain interesting things. The bad is going to sound very, very scary, though. I will tell you, right? Topic should be bad, and where. There's some really interesting stuff. There's one really funny thing. Should I start with the funny thing first? Because it's funny, but it's funny and it's sad. I'll bring the funny after the bad so you can understand. So you don't feel too bad about what's going on. Right. Bad right now. Currently, right? God, where to start from? Let's start from here. Should we start from here? Yeah. All right. Now that's going to be the end result. Okay. Currently, we have broken another historic moment in Bitcoin. And that is because we are trading below the cost to produce Bitcoin at this present moment. And that has only ever happened once. Only ever happened once. And that was in COVID. And it was a momentary move. momentary. So this ain't good, Brev, right? And I don't want to say this ain't good, because when it's trading underneath that, you're gonna start seeing these miners stop mining, and that will most probably cause a fundamental problem in this in this industry, right? So this, in one way or other, is either going to correct, or we have a serious problem in our hands right now. Watch this carefully, because they are currently eating into losses. Otherwise, it's going to have to move into some sort of interesting move where markets are going to have to adjust, and these miners are going to have to adjust to create energy in a way that's far more cost effective for it to even be viable. And this is a zero sum game at the moment. I'm only here for entries. Thank you so much, my friend. Right? This is a real problem, and this can cause a continuation in the downward spiral like nothing else you would be, because if these guys start going offline, I mean, it will be more. I mean, eventually this could be a actual good thing, which could skyrocket this market. But short term, this is very, very bad, and this is giving me something broken vibes, right? This is a broken vibe. This shouldn't be happening. It's never happened before. Only once in the history of a short term dip and a recovery back to above the cost of energy. So we have no idea what's going on at the moment, and it's a bit of an interesting situation, right? Now, if we look at some other interesting factors we need to understand in this market, we have to be a bit worried about something, right? Watch Trump family investing in mining companies. Oh yeah, we'll see, right? I'm gonna get to that story. That's a big story, right? If we look at the Fed's Mr. Waller here, if you read his press release, it looks like the chance of a rate cut is not going to happen. In fact, on that point, it's going to be more than it's not going to happen. It's going to be at the point where we are going to. It looks like they're going to be pausing, right? The market is going to be pausing what's happening with the Fed rate cuts, and that is only going to cause more stress in the market. And I'm going to get to a reason why it's going to cause more stress in the market. So here, as you say, Fed's January jobs report, a welcome surprise, but only one a month. If February jobs strong, may tilt toward pausing rates, right? So we're waiting on the new Fed's report that's coming in. The employment reports that are coming in this week and possibly next week to give an understanding if this is a continuation of a strong labor market, where when we say strong, a fully employed labor market in relation to job creation, where job creation doesn't exist, it looks like there's going to be no chance of a rate cut. It's just not going to happen, because we are getting into a point where inflation is starting to tick up and employment is strong. That is not good, especially in relation to GDP numbers coming in bad. So we are stagflation. Oh my God, inflation. Oh, what the hell's going on? Downward spiral mode, right? As I said, also tomorrow we have Nvidia, the darling child of the S&P 500. Believe me, if that comes in bad, the S&P 500 is going to do some seriously not very good things, right? We'll have a pullback in the market, right? What's this, Alvarez? All respect, but what you do, but seems that you start live stream and you always say the problem of the problem. They said to say the bad things first, so I'm talking about the bad things first. Then slightly funny and then slightly interesting. I'm just reporting what I see. I never just say bad stuff. I said I ended in a very positive note yesterday, right? You need to hear everything. You can't be just blinded with what you think. You need the data in your hand to make the right decisions. And this is the best crypto show online. I don't care what anyone says. I'm giving you everything, and people are just fading because there's a guy in a hat saying that I trade with $50,000. You know what? Should I trade with $50,000? I feel like I'm going to trade with $50,000. When I get my account back, right, I'm going to show you that I've put $50,000 into an account, and I'm going to trade that. And if anyone wants to do that, they can get into the Alpha Hunters group. How about that? Does that sound like something that will make more people watch it and go, oh, look at that, 50,000, all that kind of stuff? I might do that. You know what? If anyone wants to follow me and watch that, they can watch that. I'm going to do that, right? So that's that situation where we are right now. So Fed cuts are not going to be happening. It looks like there's this bit of a problem. Show him love. He's on this. Tap the heart, baby. Thank you so much. Was that Pablo, whatever. What's your thoughts on the market right now? I'm going to get to that. Let me get through some of these details, and I'll get to the charts at the end. And I'm also going to give you the exact number of where I believe this is going to bottom. I'm going to give you the exact number where I believe, with data, with facts, with historical information, what I think is going to be happening. And no one is going to give you this. No one. Literally no one, apart from me. Right? Apart from me, and you guys still don't follow, press like and press the bell button and all that kind of stuff. By the way, if you want to see what I'm showing on my screen, you can go here, go to that place there, and you can see everything on my screen. Make sure you follow and check all that kind of stuff out as well. Now, let's get to some interesting data. Do you want to see some data from a bank? How about this? You guys want to see some data from a bank? Right? You want to see this idea, right? You want to see this idea of everyone saying everything is fine, but in reality, everything ain't fine, bruv. And I don't mean in crypto, I mean in general understanding of what banks are saying to each other, right? You want to see what actual people, banks are saying to each other. And I'm gonna go through this whole situation right now because it is we're verging on somewhat delusional level of understanding of what's happening right now, right? So internal banks are talking about the S&P 500. In fact, I'm just gonna put these here so you guys can see exactly what's going on. All right, show us the Alpha Bravo, of course, yeah. Your bank account, yes, please. I will show. No, it won't be mine. It's what I'm trading with. I'm gonna start a daily trading thing with 50,000, so I can wear the hat and the glasses and go, look, I trade with $50,000, right? I'm gonna be that guy. Now, here we go. Now, look. So, what this internal document describes at this present moment, right? And again, you guys are all my clients because I'm giving you. You will see. By the way, if anyone's here that wants to see it, they can go here. If anyone doesn't know who I am, well, they should do because I'm, been in this space for a while, and I do videos and stuff like that. Even though this is my alt account, my actual account was banned for something truly ridiculous in my opinion, but who knows? I'm talking to TikTok, maybe they'll give it back to me. Now, at this current moment, what it's showing is that, and this graph is where we start from, this one on the right? Currently, what is the driving force of the S&P 500, right? I do videos and stuff, and that should be on your t-shirt. Yeah, of course. It's on my pants. So they know who they're dealing with. Anyway, right. Currently, retail is what's driving the S&P 500, not institutions. This is the weirdest situation that we're in right now, right? These bars that you see here are retail expenditure and purchasing of the S&P 500. The black bar is the amount of institutions buying the S&P 500. So what we're seeing right now, right, is that institutions are reducing exposure to S&P 500 and retail is increasing it. And the thing is about that, right? The thing is, because you can see it here, the net inflows of retail is at historic highs. When when things are looking a bit, where to see the data? You can see the data here. You can go to there. Make sure you follow and press the bell button so you can actually be informed when those happens. I drop information like no one else knows, because no one else knows the people that I know. As the best crypto show and in fact finance show on the internet. I don't care what anyone says, right? Now, so what we're seeing right now is retail investment into the S&P 500 is at historic high. We're talking about absolute maximum levels of high. But we have an issue, right? We have an issue because we are seeing a complete divergence from delinquency rates. So what we're seeing is that people are putting a lot of money in the S&P 500, but they're not paying debts off. They're having trouble paying debts off. And that is wholeheartedly connected to the US interest rates, right? So people can't pay their debts, they can't borrow more money, and they don't have assets to be able to put in as a down payment to to get more debt, and because they're being delinquent on their cards and various other issues, and at the same time, house sales are not equating to house purchasing because they can't get enough debt and borrow money to buy these things. And at this present moment, we are seeing a complete inverse investment profile of retail investment to institutional investment. We are currently sitting on, and I mean this in the best possible way, a house of cards with the S&P 500. We are sitting in this scenario where we are currently being held up. Stop. No one can come close to Crypto King, all right? Don't even try. So we're currently in this scenario where we're held up by a house of cards in the S&P 500. And boy, if something cracks there, and there is cracks happening at this present moment, right? By the way, if anyone wants to see it, you can check it out here. You can see my screen. There's only 30 people there. There's, 100 people here. There should be 100 on the other side, right? When you're there, make sure you follow and do all that kind of stuff, right? William Watson copied your video today. What? Really? Oh, that's nice to hear. It should be nice. He hasn't said anything nice about me, even though I said nice things about him when his account was banned. But, they're just who they are, right? Now, so we're sitting on the house of cards. When that grows, it goes crazy. And at the same time, we're seeing mid-level providers, investors into tech, investors that provide liquidity into the market, causing and stopping withdrawals of assets that are not valued at the point of what they're saying. So there are major liquidity issues in the market. And to be honest, we're in a scenario where certain markets, let's put these away, certain markets, let's just say, although the Nasdaq is like are showing maybe beginning stages of weakness. I mean, the Nasdaq has started to show weakness. QQQ is still relatively strong, but could show weakness. But the big daddy right now is the S&P 500. And you can see currently it is being fully held up by retail investment into this market, whereas institutions are pulling all their money out. This right now is the epitome of where a complete turnaround could happen. And we're looking like a couple of months here, it looks like. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what's going to be going on that side. Now, if you want to get to some interesting news about Bitcoin. In fact, let me show you the funny news first. Right? Have you seen this going around? This made me laugh so hard. Right? This cracked me up so much, right? In fact, is there a way I can block this? All right, okay. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this because I wanted to do it as a reveal because this is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. This is hilarious. Right? Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. It's gonna be 2 screenshots I'm gonna show you. All right. First screenshot is this, right? Anthropic. Sometimes it feels like, right, they're actually trolling people. I feel like they're trolling people sometimes because if you look at Anthropics, by the way, if you want to check that out, you can go here. You can see over there. There's 54 people. By the way, 54 people. If you guys are here, make sure you follow and press the bell button so you guys can be informed when I do these lives. So Anthropic. It's so hilarious. So Anthropic put up a new software engineer role. $570,000 a year. Crazy, right? Equity. This is a really nice sum. This is a really nice sum. However, they put a note on it. Right? They put a note. And the note is, this role may not exist in 12 months. So they actually wrote on the job. God. So for about a year, you get some good money. But in about a year's time, you're not going to have a job, breath, right? So this factor here, what is this showing in a funny type of manner, right? Hard money, hard money, right? But what is this showing is that there is a bit of a shift going on. And so what we're seeing right now could be the growing pains of that shift. And when you have those shifts that are happening, whether it's something that's actually happening or it's kind of a test, because if you look at these AI functions and these models and everything else, they pretty much cost a worker anyway, right? So it's a bit of a problem in this scenario, what's going on. Now, if we look at Bitcoin at this present moment, right? If we're sitting here looking at Bitcoin, trying to understand what is going on, this little run up here, something really interesting happened, right? In between 60 and 70,000 Bitcoin, there were 400,000 Bitcoin bought. So we're getting into a stage where people are seeing a potential value of Bitcoin being cheap, right? Now, if you were to ask me and to say, would I call this a bottom? I will not believe that, right? I think there is a lot of issues right now in the market and not related to what just Bitcoin is going through, is just what the whole market is going through. Because look, if we think of it this way, right? And I'll put this over here, I'll explain to you something here, which is something that I've been seeing very, very clearly. Let's put this to Bitcoin so we can see on the larger screen. Yeah, let's see on the larger screen like this, right? Currently, what's going on in the market, and having a long-term conversation with a few friends of mine. Some of them are far more intelligent than me, and I just put them to the mind of understanding what's going on, what the situation is, right? And it's this. What we've seen in this run right now is that institution-led exposure has caused one specific market, such as Bitcoin itself, to cause a massive rally, right? But this rally that we saw was not caused by retail. And it was caused by institutions pushing Bitcoin up. Now, the little moves that we saw on alts, where we're basically seeing on average a 90% drawdown. I mean, I'll show you this here as well. Where was it here? Was it this one? No. We're seeing here we go. We're seeing a 90% drawdown on average of all alts. Those little moments of rally that we saw were those who were in Bitcoin, not long-term holders, but actually middle to short-term holders, gaining profits to then rotate into altcoins. So those little runs that we saw was that understanding, but it wasn't what we would see as a retail entrance into the market. Because as we saw here, as I've showed you very, very clearly, right? And we've seen very, very clearly, retail is going into the S&P 500 because they're fearful of what's going on, but they're also going through massive amount of liquidity stress, credit stress, right? And without that, with that stress happening, they're looking into what they could see potentially as safe havens. Now, Bitcoin only, and I mean alts and Bitcoin, only run when there is excess liquidity. So what we've seen here, this move in the S&P 5, the Bitcoin, and its pullback that we're seeing right now is, in essence, institution cause a run up and a possibly 30% run up more than it should have to correct back to levels where it should be at right now. And to be honest, getting to an area where once this liquidity stress and this market starts to settle down, we will actually see what we would describe as a proper bull run rather than an institutional rotational money move that we've seen, and an allocation move that we're seeing at the moment in the markets, right? Now, let's get to something interesting. And before I get to, because I'm going to do somewhat of a more concise, shorter, cleaner live so people get the full information, and then I'll go into market chart analysis of what's going on. Have you guys been following Zach XBT and World Liberty Finance? I can't say that word. The S word. And it ends with DAL. It's S with a dull at the end. Have you guys been following what is going on here, right? Do you guys know any of this? Any of you guys been following the World Liberty Finance thing that's going on? For those who haven't been, and I'll give you a bit of a rundown of what's happening right now, but because to be honest, you should watch my videos, but none of you guys press the bell button or watch them or do anything on that level. By the way, everyone on the tube, make sure you like and follow and press all that kind of bell. I appreciate it, and putting comments really help. I don't want anything from you guys. I just want you guys to help with my algorithm. That's it. That's all I want from you guys, so more people can see it. I appreciate you all being here, right? So, Zach XBT came out with this post, right? And if you don't know who he is like a famous whistleblower doing God's work, finding out all of the issues and the problems and the real bad in the market, right? And he said that he's seen something, one of the most profitable businesses where multiple employees abuse internal data to inside trade over prolonged periods of time, right? So he's about to release something where it will prove that something crazy is happening. And to be honest, he, along with a few other people, it's giving me vibes of what was that project that pumped over around the COVID period and then completely dissipated into nothing. What was that coin called? When everyone made millions and then disappeared and rugged. I've forgotten the name of the coin. Anyway, I forgot the name. If you guys remember what it was. Luna. There we go. This is giving me Luna vibes because what he's describing is basically what happened with Luna, right? Now, when he released this, something weird happened with World Liberty Finance. And it wasn't just World Liberty Finance. It was World Liberty Finance's stablecoin, USD1, right? And it did something like that. It had a full-blown depeg. And I mean full depeg. We're talking about that is one of the worst signs you can do in as a stable coin, right? And what then followed, now I have to be very very careful when I say this. Allegedly, after that point, we saw a Mr. Enrique Trompe start deleting some X posts about USD1. And not only that, they're posts that are saying how good USD1 is. Like, for example, one is another amazing week for USD1, a World Liberty Finance, amazing few days for World Liberty Finance, incredible project USD, hashtag USD1. These were deleted, right? And there is this understanding that what Zach XBT is talking about is USD1, because I don't want to say certain things, but Donald Trump coin and Melania coin, they're not doing well, are they? Right? They're not in the best state of affairs. We are looking at. I mean, if we look at Trump, I would never look at Melania, but that ain't a good look, bruv. If I was to show what a rug looked like in it, bruv, it would look like that, and it's got Donald Trump on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not good, right? Now, what's even more interesting is World Liberty Finance did an X post replying to these rumors. And the post, when you're sitting in a scenario, right, where they're trying to say certain things and blame certain things, right? And you're like, this just makes it look worse, what you're saying. This is just 10 times worse what you're saying. And that is that they started blaming that it was a coordinated effort by paid influencers to bring down World Liberty Finance. And at the same time, the top echelon of World Liberty Finance were hacked, and all of these things happened because of that. Now, first things first, how did these officials, the top creme de la creme of these officials of this company, get their accounts hacked? Please explain to me how that makes sense. How does it wasn't even one, all of them got hacked. All of them got hacked because that's how it works, right? It's only an all or nothing type of scenario. And then at the same time, blame the influencers. Blame the influencers for them coming after World Liberty Finance. And it got to such a stage, right? And I want you guys to really, really check this out. That let's see if I can. Do I have it here? No. That Eric Trump started to reply to meme coin callers about how they're ridiculous, how they don't know what they're talking about. This is Eric Trump replying to people's posts, and everyone's like, if you want to look as guilty as possible, right? This is the number one way to do it. Why are you even just like, what are you doing? You know, it's that type of thing when you catch someone and they just keep talking at you, and you're just like, just I know you've done it. Like, why do you keep talking at me? What is going on? What is happening? What is the situation right now? So this is unraveling very, very quickly. And the thing is, right, if what Zach XBT is going to come out with is World Liberty Finance, I would expect a Luna type capitulation event in our market. I just will tell you this. Keep an eye on this very, very, very closely, because I'm telling you now, this is one of those black swan type of events, but it's an interesting thing. So keep an eye. I'm going to be doing videos about it. I'm going to be watching it and trying to understand what's going on. Now, let's get on to the graphs, and then I'll get on to where I think this market is going to end. Now, if we look at total right now, we're seeing something kind of interesting, which is a good sign, right? We've seen a reclaim of the Monday low, right? The only people aware of what's going on is people on TikTok and Twitter X. All right, okay. Well, I'm explaining. It's an interesting thing. You guys check it out. Now, we've seen a reclaim of the Monday low, which is a good sign. This is always a good sign that we're getting this reclaim of this level and a bounce from a extremely clean area of where the bottom of this wick was, and we're moving from there. Now, do I believe that this could go below? Oh, yes, it could definitely go lower, right? But I will say this. These are the areas that you need to look at, right? Key areas. It's relatively similar. In fact, let me just go a bit lower. Let's see if there's any more interesting areas. I mean, it's already having a problem here, but that wasn't what I was thinking. I would say this, right? That's amazing. If it's fun. Oh, what did I just do? There we go. Wow. I wouldn't even call that, but I would say this. Look. Let's move that there. First things first, right? This is a level. To be honest, it shouldn't be. Daddy, can you say World Liberty Finance with a few tweets? Yeah, exactly. Would you be interested in hired paid partnership promotion? Yes, of course I would. Why not? So where we're sitting right now is this, right? This 2.2 trillion should not actually be an area of resistance, but it's acting in the area of resistance, which is somewhat worrying because that's showing a bit of, yeah, and the thing is, these are getting topped off a little bit as well. But I would say this, rather than that, we'll see. If it starts to roll over here, it could be a problem, right? But I would say this. I'm going to mark out some areas where you should look at important areas to look at, right? I would say here. These are 3 areas that you need to look at. Each one of these areas could be an area where you could see a serious pullback, and I would say every rally is an opportunity to short at this present moment, right? First one's first. I mean, like, it's always already having problems at the 2.2. To be honest, it really shouldn't be doing that, but whatever, right? First area I would say where we could potentially see a real problem would be at the 2.21, right? That area there is because it's had several attempts to break through, and it is showing a level of real strong resistance. Now, if we break through that, great, right? Then we'll most probably then the next level to look at is 2.26, and then the next level from there is a 2.29. Now, the fact that we have broken back into range of the Monday low, right? The Monday low, what if you guys want to understand what this is a ranging pattern where we see where the low of the Monday ranges. That's why Monday is really important. It's basically it sets the tone of the week, right? So we see where the low of Monday was and the high of Monday was, and there's a mid area period between the sections between the New York Open and the London Open, right? Usually when you regain the Monday low, that is a Jane Street calls a Terra Luna. Yeah, Jane Street. Yeah, exactly. There's something else that's also going on I want to explain as well. I'm gonna drop some. I'm researching something that I might drop a video on, but no one will watch it because my account's been anyway, whatever. Usually when you get this, you get a continuation, right? It's usually a continuation up. Now, where I will see the first level of problem, it would be the 2.21. If we regain this level, if we get something like that, right, and we see something like this going on, maybe it will dip down a bit and come back into range. If we see something like that, that is a perfect, in my opinion, longing opportunity. That is an area where then most likely we are going to see a test of the 2.29 area. Most likely. That is with the caveat of Mr. Trump going, apart from that, if that's happening, then all bets are off, right? But it is looking relatively okay at the moment. We're relatively in a period where if we regain that, great. If we reject off the 2.21, then this thing is going down. And I'm saying going down, down, down. I would say would not be surprised if this doesn't hit the 2.1 trillion on there. We will see, right? You have to act and react now rather than try and predict. Anyone that tries to predict right now are just trying to do clickbaity things with you guys and they don't know what they're talking about, right? And they might be right because it's a 50-50 chance. Right? All right. So don't listen to anyone that says anything on that level. So that's what I would suggest that you look at. Now, if we look at the nearer term, I thought we grind sideways till the month. We'll see. We'll see what happens, because this isn't, we're nowhere. Okay, we've had a reaction of this level, which is great. I mean, we've had 400,000 Bitcoin being bought within this period, which is a huge amount being bought, right? But until we break certain levels, I don't care what anyone says. Genuinely, I really just don't care what anyone says, or this is happening, that's happening. If the chart shows me something different, I will go according to the chart. That's it. That's what I'm going to be saying right now. If it breaks above here, we long. If it rejects off this, we go short. I said, to be honest, I said something about that on Monero. Now look where it is. You didn't like Monero. Now look where it is. Whatever that means. I said the same thing with Monero, right? I showed it on a shorter time frame. I actually said to them, I said, look, it's really relatively simple. It was around here, and I said, look, this is the level to breach, right? 3.28. It's relatively simple. If we tap it, right, and we break and close below, it's a shorting opportunity. And it was a quick short, and it looks like it's going down further and further and further. And most probably this will go down and possibly test the 305, depending. It depends. All these things are dependent on the total market cap. Again, if it starts breaking above here, they could still break through that area. There's no guarantee that these things can run up or down or left or right. So this is where we're sitting at this present moment. We have to be clear, simple. Play simple rules at this present moment. Don't look for like 1,000 indicators and this and the other. Look for simple support and resistance levels that we're going to be breaking. We have to play in those levels because right now we're working with very limited liquidity, and people are still dealing with leverage trading. I mean, we had 400 million that was wiped off the other day. Honestly, people need to stop doing this, right? Need to stop doing this. So that's where I would say. Now, if we look at USDT dominance, this also gives an understanding that we could be on for a potential run up. Yeah, we could be on for a potential to have more of a run. But again, look, we're coming into key levels here. And if we put this onto a smaller time frame, are we on the smaller time frame? Why is this not working? Yeah. let me just put this on. Right, if we look at a smaller time frame, we're sitting at the Pico bottom, right? And at the same time, we don't have too much of a movement to this area here. So we have about a very small amount. We're talking about less than 1% move down to an area of support, which, funny enough, sits almost identically at a key area of support, right? Now, if I was to, I'm curious. Let's see something. There we go. Oh, yeah. And that fib sits almost perfectly at that point, right? So understand that this area sitting around the 8.3, 8.29, 8.29. 8.29 is going to be an area of, isn't that right? Yeah, 8.29 is going to be an area of reaction, and that reaction will most probably cause a pullback in the market, and that would align well with where we're sitting here. Yeah. Watch this zone. The 2.201 is going to be extremely important. Isn't the daily RSI on the Bitcoin something bullish? Let's have a look at the daily RSI. What do you mean talking about? You shouldn't always just look at RSI. RSI is a confluence factor, not a an indicator where we're going. I mean, maybe, but the thing is that this thing could stay down here for a very long time. Like it doesn't mean anything. This, you need to be careful with this. RSIs are, in my opinion, are more useful when you start looking into lower time frame type of aspects. But we'll see. Maybe I think that this thing could potentially go a lot lower. Right now, this reaction that we see at this point doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be going for full retrace back up. We're just getting into an area where this trading range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Because look, if we look at the higher time frames, right? If we look at the higher time frames, especially on the 30, we look at, come on, why is this that? It eventually, in the somewhat medium time period, this could grind up more. That's why if we look at what's happening at this present moment right here, this area up here, the ultimate aim right now. Okay, guys, prepare for your shortness. All right, the ultimate aim is a 2.29. Now, there is a lot of things to happen before we get there. That's why we have to go level by level by level by level. And the levels are all here. That's why I say to everyone, when you're watching this live in the stream and everything else with my screen, make sure you put the bells on and you can rewatch it and everything is here. I'm giving this stuff all for free, right? And if you want to know more and understand what's going on, and this is going to be a shameless plug, unfortunately, for you guys, you can check that out on the Alpha Hunter stream, right? You can see it here. You can see exactly what's going on. You see the reviews that are going on. Everyone's talking about, thank you very much. This is amazing. This is some of the best information that's happened. You look at the profits. You see these profits that are coming here that's being described by all of our calls. And then more importantly, you kind of look at that actual live streams that happen that describe, why is it not working? Hello? Yeah, you see live streams where he discuss on live how to do it and how to go through, and it's the price of a coffee, right? Just want to explain that to you guys. Want to join, don't join. There's also a free section as well, right? Now, if we look at yeah, so that's the thing. So we have to go level by level. I've given you these levels. These are the areas that I'm assuming there's going to be some form of reaction. We saw a market structure shift at this level here, which is the sign that brought this forward. So this is where we're going at this present moment. But I will say this, at this current stage, what is going on here? 1 second. Does that work? Okay. My mouse battery is dying. 1 second. I apologize. Oh yeah, cool. All right. All right, at this stage, that's why if you go level by level, we look at that and we see where it's going on. Remember, tomorrow we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA could cause this thing to move. A potential conflict in the Middle East can cause it to pull back, up, down, left, right, and center, and all this kind of stuff. How big of a deal is solar inflation? Tyler thinks it needs to get fixed ASAP. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah. Yeah. You need to understand something about solar, right? And I want this to be very, very clear. Very clear. The main problem with Sol, is VC. It's got a VC problem. VCs own a super large percentage share of Sol. The tech is great. What they're doing is great. The development is great. The team is great. Everything about this company is all great. The VC percentage holdership is terrible. And it will always have inflation. There will always be this constant selling that they're going through. But, and why this thing gained massive momentum is because memes. See, what a lot of people don't understand about Sol and memes and everything else like that. And to be honest, where this really started to go, it wasn't Sol itself, it wasn't memes itself, it was Pump Fun. Because what happened with Pump Fun is that everyone could launch a coin, and at the point of migrating, Pump Fun would burn and lock away a massive amount of the asset, right? It's a huge amount. So every single time when there was 5,000 tokens being launched a day, that was a massive burning mechanic that was countering the amount of Sol being used and the amount of people creating it and utilizing Sol and all this kind of stuff. Now that's all dried up. What's left? What's left right now? Inflation. Inflation is left right now. And inflation is another word for a large token holder between circulating supply and what the actual total supply is. And they hold the total supply. They have a various level of unlocks that their VCs can then sell, and the company needs to sell to pay their employees and yada 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 yada. Right? So there's that problem. That's our problem. No, there is a fix to solve. They just have to do massive buybacks and burns and all this kind of stuff. And they do OTC sales and they have to buy off their VCs. But whether they'll do that, who knows, right? Now, what do you want me to talk about? Should I talk about where I think this thing is going to so much is crazy. Well, it's been a while. I've been in this industry for a while. Don't worry. I don't know as much as the Ribbon Guy or Crypto King. There aren't many people that can know as much as them, right? It takes a keen eye and technique to trade both ways, right? Only a very few can master that skill. Right. So, should I talk about where I think this is going to bottom out? Now, I'm going to warn you guys, right? Calvin Hill definitely knows more. He knows more about cryptocurrency than cryptocurrency himself. He might actually be Satoshi. He might actually be. Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. It might be. But I'll tell you, I'm going to trade the 50th. I'm going to call it. They should write history books about it. Thank you. Appreciate it. You're such a kind person. But that sounds like you're being sarcastic. But okay. I'm going to be doing a Satoshi Hill. I'm going to be doing a trading challenge. I'm going to call it, right? This is what I'm going to call it, right? I'm going to call it the Calvin Hill trading strategy. I'm going to put $50,000. I promise you I'm going to do this, right? I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna put $50,000 into to my WeX account, and by the way, we have if you go to the Alpha Hunters group, you can get the WeX. If you deposit 100, they give you $50. It's a cool thing, right? All you have to do is trade once or something, right? You can go there and check it out. But I'm gonna put $50,000 into my WeX account, and I'm gonna call it the Calvin Hill account, and see if I can follow his technique. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna do a daily podcast about it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he's willing to if we can do a 50K to 50K trade out, right? Because I don't like to tell people how much I trade with, but why not? Let me show you my 50K in my account and let's see what happens. Right? Let's see what happens, Brev. All right, that's it. Okay, but now let me explain to you where I think. Who's this Hill person? You don't want to know who this Hill. How do you not know who this Hill? He is godfather of. Don't watch him. Don't watch him. He's an interesting person. That's all I'm going to say. Now, There's a number. Let me see. Let me put this on there so you guys can understand what's going on. Right. This is a very interesting graph. There we go. Yeah. This is a very interesting graph, right? And it shows where stabilization and bottoms occur in our market, right? For everyone that stayed this long, I appreciate you all being here, and I appreciate everyone being on the tube. You guys are incredible. Make sure you like and press the bell button. It means a lot. As I said, I only want that for algorithm. Anything other than that, what this shows is a clear understanding of how bull bear accumulation, bull bear, what's it called? What was that word called? Capitulation, accumulation, and then bull again, right? This graph right here, at this current moment, the way you understand when a market is really over, where you see the real bottom of a market, where things have got to a stage where it's now the time to get in, right? Thank you for your time. Of course, women. I always have time for women. I'm reading your name. Totally thought we would drop to double bottom six. There's still a chance that could happen. There's still a chance like that. The time when you know when we have bottomed is when you track and understand. Thank you, Margaret. That's such a great name. Is when long-term holders start to capitulate, right? Long-term holders are the key to this market. And currently, long-term holders, even at this price, are sitting at a 74.3% profit on Bitcoin, right? We're looking at Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the one that is the driving force of this industry. Now, there is a price that will equate to the average buying price of all these long-term holders. And from that price, there is usually a 5 to 10% capitulation number that is hit for this to level out, bottom, and then get to a point of accumulation to have the next run, right? And that number is exactly, and I mean exactly, 38.9 thousand Bitcoin. It's low, right? It's very low, right? It's very, very low. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to get there. I just want to be very, very clear. This doesn't mean that that number is definitely going to hit for the bottom, because this data set gives a margin of about 10 to 15%, right? But if we look at Bitcoin on a larger scale, right, on a longer term scale, let's put it on the weekly, right? Where would 40,000 be on the price, right? Let's just make it a nice little round number. Where would 40,000 be? And I mean exactly. And I mean exactly, strangely at the exact point of where this inefficiency wick is sitting. Exactly. In fact, if we mark it almost exactly to the number 38.9, Brev. Brev, if that does not deserve a thumbs up or a like, if that does not, seriously, I did this in front of you. I haven't done this. I'm being, look, it's here. The number is here. That's wild. That is wild. That's wild. Yeah. That will be the point where you'll see long-term capitulation happen up to that point. You'll see it start to do that. How wild is that? And now you tell me if this is not the best crypto show in the whole of the internet. If you don't, excuse me, right? Excuse me if I don't crown myself, right? Oh wait, 1 second. 1 second. I know who I'm gonna crown myself, just so everyone can understand, right? There's a reason why I need to. Wait, where is it? 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. If I'm not the next Calvin Hill of this market, right? If I'm not like, yo, bro, what's up, right? To say like trading with like only $50,000, you know, I can trade both ways, all right? All right, pay attention, my friend. I just dropped the mother of all alphas right now, the absolute mother of all of the. Pay attention, right? Does he do it? 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. It's kind of like not on properly, but to the side. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so yo, what's up? So this is how you know. This is how you know. Nice technical analysis. I am telling you, I am a guy I'm a secret sleeper, right? Some might call me, you know, just sometimes, right? You know, AI is a real thing. So if you really want to know, I am Calvin Hill. No, I'm joking. I'm messing around. But that's what I'm going to say, right? That's exactly what I think the level is going to be. And that's why I think pretty much we will get runs, right? We will get areas where we will get further movement up. We will get areas where we will get movement going on. And we'll get these little bits of counter rally. But we're in a scenario, right, where Calvarez, where we're technically looking at those levels. Now, when this will get here, and more importantly, if it will, look, we have some real positive catalysts that are coming. Like the Clarity Act is going to be a very, very positive catalyst. Now, whether that will cause some sort of counter rally where we will see this thing potentially move up and test the monthly open, possible. I'm not saying that. That's where the shorter term, and that's why you have to come here every single day, Monday to Friday, where I give the understanding of where things. That's why these levels are important. You go level by level. You don't go by just, okay, you know what, let me eyes closed, this is going to happen, it's going up. You go level by level, play by play. If you want to do that, go and check the Alpha Hunters group. It's in the links below or in the things. And there's a free section as well. And if you want, there's only a little bit more that you pay. And it literally is the cost of a coffee, literally the cost of a coffee to enter and work on that side. That's it. That is right now. I think Trump's State of the Union moves the market. I doubt it very much. Unless he says crypto on there. Unless he's like, if he starts shouting Trump coin, right? I don't see it's going to move anything. The only way that this market will move, is once we see retail move away from what they believe is safe assets, which is the S&P 500, and we start seeing if we start seeing a full-blown move in rates and everything else on that level. If you missed the whole live, you can go check out here. You can watch it all over again, and it's actually just recorded in the time scan. All right. Now, anything else you guys want me to talk about? Anything else you guys want me to look at before that, and then I'll shoot off, because I'm trying to make this more of a tight live where I give maximum amount of information. You can go through the whole detail, you can see all that kind of stuff, and we can go from there. All right. Okay, that's my little homework book that I was reading off. All right. Filecoin. All right, let's have a look at Filecoin. I think everything's gonna be. I think Filecoin would have done really well actually today. I would be surprised if it hasn't done really well. That's one of the. Where's Filecoin? There we go, Filecoin. A little bit of a move. Again, look, it's really simple. You play simple levels here, right? Really, really simple moves. Currently, it looks okay. Where? Let's put it here. Also, I will say something about Pippin, right? And this is a warning to everyone that's really, really hot on Pippin at the moment. 90% of the supply is owned by one person. He is causing this move the way it is. So I'm just telling you now, there will be a point where this thing will start to capitulate and pull back, and you don't want to be caught in that, because that thing is going to be, it is going to extract that whatever last piece of liquidity is left in the market. Just letting you guys know. Now, let's put this down. You said Filecoin, right? All right, then put Filecoin here as well. Why does it keep doing that? All right. I would say, why is it doing that? What's going on here? Yeah, why is that not working? Anyway, whatever. Why is that doing that? Oh, it's messed up. All right, okay. I would say, ooh, man, it looks so bad in the long term. It looks okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's looking relatively okay at the moment. Yeah, I would say the resistance for this, right? I think this could run if the market. I think the market's gonna run a little bit. That's the level to look at. 0.894. That's the area to look at right now. What do we want to look at? Anything else? Bruv, no financial, but what would you pick 7 ETH? I can't say that, man. I can't say that on live. Just come to the Alpha Hunters group and ask there, man. Anyone, look, I'll say this to you. This is a promise I'll give to everyone, right? This is a promise I'll give to everyone that wants to go there. Links in the bio. There is a free section and a graph analysis section. That's free, right? If you go there, put your analysis of what you think the trade is going to be. I and other traders and everyone else there will tell you what to look at. Is that fair? Like, there's no other group that will do that for you. Yeah, I would wait for. I think this is most probably going to bounce off that EMA. I would be surprised if it doesn't bounce off there. Possibly down to the mid. So 0.8.80 could be an area of bounce. I would not be surprised if this thing doesn't go and tap the 0.894. Samsung. I don't have Samsung. I'm looking at Samsung. I'm a join. Just it's free. There's a free section to it. It's literally free, man. I don't know what else you want me to say. And if you want some trades and this and yeah, couldn't work out how to get into Discord. By the way, if you go to the WAP, make sure you put it into to desktop mode. If you put it into desktop mode, you will then you can get everything. There's something weird going on with the mobile for some reason. Right. It's free. There's also a paid section. You will get any of the learning, the teaching, the live trading that KB does, and the calls that I do, and all that other stuff that goes on. Bro, it's like $12, man. You know, pay $12 for. I don't get it. It's like when it's free, people don't believe it. I need to make it for $15,000, and then people will go in. All right, one more thing. I can't. Not. Oh, wait. There was more questions. That was wild, that level, by the way. South Korean market doing well. Yeah, those markets are going to do well. How about buying real estate? I would wait for buying real estate right now. I would wait for buying real estate right now. I think I have the graph here somewhere. I was looking at a graph the other day. I was going to do a video about it. That's an interesting question. See if I have it here. 1 second. Do I have it here? No, that's not it. So currently, I think it's in the previous one. Yeah. Currently, we are seeing something really, really interesting going on. There is more supply of sale of do you have a good Chuck sitting in the side lines waiting? What do you mean? Who's good Chuck? Currently, I would say this, right? I'm expecting a wild property crash coming soon. Very, very soon. If there is such a credit crunch that's happening in the markets, right? And we're in a scenario where in America especially, where there are more sellers than buyers and credit is difficult and the Fed looks like they're not going to be doing anything with rates at this present moment, and we're seeing credit card defaults and all this kind of stuff, and if we start seeing the S&P 500 starting to roll over, boy, is it going to get rough out there. It's going to get rough. Canada is capitulating in Ontario, and I don't know what that means. What do you mean? Canada is capitulating in Ontario, and I don't know what that means. Do you have a chunk of money sitting inside? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. That's what I'm telling you. I'm being serious. I don't know what you guys want me to do. I'm being serious. I'm actually going to put $50,000 into the WeX account, and I'm going to be trading on that and doing putting all my trades on the Alpha Hunters group. I will prove it to you tomorrow. I will prove it to you. I will bring my WeX account and I'll put it onto stream, and you will see $50,000 in there. Is that proof enough? Right? Is that proof enough? Now I'll do that so you guys can understand. And then you understand I ain't messing around, Brev. I ain't messing around. Yeah, gold looks good. I think gold is just going to continue for a while, too. By the by the amount of liquidity sits between 0.74 to 71 on Pippin looks taste. Man, Pippin, because it's 95% of it is owned by one guy or girl or whatever it is, one group or whoever it is. So the supply is massively tight, and that's why that thing can run. Gold is looking really good. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Gold for me, right? Gold for me has always been something that you can hold on for a while. This thing is going to go and most probably tap and try and test the all-time highs again. I would be very surprised if it doesn't do that. What about the stock market? About to 50K. What do you mean? Which, what are you talking about? Even the S&P 500? No, what do you mean? What about stock market? Back to Todd, I don't know what I think you mean what? You mean Bitcoin and stock market? Are you saying that? I don't know what you're asking me, man. I'm very confused with what you're asking me. Oh, the Dow, yeah. The Dow looks, yeah. Look, a lot of things are they're overbought at the moment. A lot of these things. It's only a matter of time. We're literally at the only a matter of time scenario right now. And I am, just to be clear with everyone, right? Everything looks very bad at the moment. But I cannot wait. I promise you, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I want it to happen sooner than later. I just wanted to get over with. Because I will tell you this, right? What you need to be doing right now, think of pulling out 30 from crypto. 30K. Oh, you can if you want to. Yeah, whatever. You know, I've made my money up and down all the time. So whatever. I have my long-term holdings. I don't care. How long do you think... How low do you think Sui can go? I'll have a look. Let me go to gold and I'm going to go to Sui. Gold, I think, is going to appreciate more because, look, we've seen, I told you the other day, I don't know if you guys were here, but we've had a historic event. Gold right now has overtaken the dollar as the reserve currency of the world. So think of it this way, right? Gold is only going to go up because if it is the reserve currency, every country is going to put money into reserve, and that reserve. Hey, Kyle Bolton, how you doing, my man? And that is only going to increase the value of this thing. Gold is separate to any other metal. I'm being serious. I know that people are like, oh, but silver is the. I get that. Gold is different than all of this. Gold is completely what's going on. What's happening with Japan trillion level loss? Actually, let's have a look at what's the. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is called Calvin analysis, where you pick every single direction and then one is right. So am I ripping on this guy? I want him to mention me. I would love for him to mention me. Please mention me. Please, bruv. And no, I'm joking. I actually like the guy. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. Who knows, right? Kyle Bolton is KB from those who don't know. Oh, my man. How you doing, brother? How you doing? By the way, the master trader is in the house as we speak. So he is the live trader. As when you go live, you'll be going live with him. There is like the cost of this thing is anyway. Everyone that comes and goes, wait, you get a lot for this price, and I'm like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah. So Japan looks okay, actually. Don't get me wrong. Like this the yen starting to stabilize into on a lower level without it being too. I mean, although that drop isn't great, right? But what is a good sign is that their 10-year yields are down. Yeah, that's okay, right? We want it actually to be around here, around the 1.7. It's still not good. If it starts to break above this, so actually around here, the 2.27 area, it's just gonna get worse, right? Yeah, big losses on the Japanese bonds. Yeah, well, that's a good thing. That's a good sign. That actually helps the USA. That's not an issue whatsoever. Is when they start gaining profits and things are moving well in that area, and the yen is starting to go up in price. That's when you have to be fearful of all that kind of issue that's going on. It's mainly because of the new the leader not doing the job what she should be doing. She's just spending money and cutting taxes on things that aren't good, right? That's where we are. So yeah, that's it, right? You have to play the market for what it is right now. Understand this, right? Understand this. Take the philosophy of our main man, Berkshire Hathaway. The guy has $400 billion in cash, dollars, waiting. These guys are waiting. These guys have made money when everything was at the complete worst area. When the whole market was on its knees, this is where they make money. And it's gonna sound really wrong, right? But where money is made is in the entry. You enter at the right time and ride the wave up. It's the way it is. Money is made in the bear markets. And for all those people who've given up and say, oh, this is over, this and the other, great. Keep saying it. Say it's over. Fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. Say it's over. Get rid of it. Let's get on with it. Let's get on with this thing absolutely crashing into oblivion, and then we can start again. And I can put my small loan of $1 million into this economy, and then sit back, and then be the person that sells to retail. Excellent gold candle, 10 minutes. Can I take a short where I said in the alpha hunters? What do you mean? I haven't looked at that alpha. I haven't had the time of even meetings all day today. Wait, where is? Let me have a look at that, and then I'm off for everyone. Where is Exum? Ah. Oh yeah, look at that. 1 second. I would say wait right now. We'll see. Maybe look at the lower time frame. We'll see. The fact that it's come up in this retesting and it's passed across its previous range high, we have to see. Possible, but it's trying to break through. That's for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to break through. Right now with this, you have to be. I just keep desing a little bit. $80. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the retest of the 382, 328. Yeah, I mean it had another sub. There's a lot of supply at that level. We'll see. Right now with this, it's just going to be chopping a lot. You have to see. Let me just see. Yeah, it looks like it's having a rejection. Now with these type of movements, right? You can't. When you see it here, these are kind of things where you do little scalps, right? You have to put your sell order here and to see what happens and risk it accordingly, and then put your stop loss above the previous wick and then go from there. Use stochastic RSI? Not really. Sometimes I use it. Sometimes I look at it as a confluence factor. I mean, you know what I mean? I use it as a confluence factor, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Absolute appreciation. You guys are incredible, right? I'm going to call it a day. That was a concise, very well planned, a whole bunch of news, a whole bunch of information. Everyone on the tube, welcome to anyone that's new, that's coming there. Make sure you press the bell button, press the like, and all of that kind of stuff. And we will most likely say that we're going to be starting a New York Open space for X. It's going to be me and Kyle. We're going to be talking about the market, where we think it's going, what's going to be happening there. Make sure you go there. Make sure you follow my ex as well, and we will not my ex, like my X account, right? Just so you understand, I don't like whatever they go. Why are all these crypto bros following? Right? And then we will go from there and make sure that you get exposure to Kyle's stuff as well. And if you want to have more of a detail, as I said, you can come into the Alpha Hunters. It's free. And there's a section there where you can put your own trades there. You can ask all the questions that you ask here about your coins and everything else like that in there. It's free, right? And if you want more detailed information, you can go to the pro group, pro level of it, where you can get the details from Kyle and me. And then we're going to be adding other aspects there with training and learning and a whole bunch of stuff. I want to make it the #1 place to learn about this market, learn about what's happening with trading, what's happening with all that kind of stuff, and then go from there. All right? Appreciate it. You guys are incredible. And we will go from there. Love, peace, affection, and all that kind of jazz. Take care. Bye. Bye bye. All right. Okay, take care, guys. I appreciate you all. Let me see.